Hi, my name's Penny. I want to have a chat to you about wicking beds. So we've built a total of 8 wicking beds on this property. Our first ones, we built 2 in the backyard in 2014. Unfortunately, we built them next to a liquid amber tree and the roots went in and destroyed them. So these 4 wicking beds were built in 2016. So it's July now, winter, and you can see this is a very successful wicking bed. Lots of lettuce, spinach, got this crazy compost tomato growing, snow peas, and a beautiful red flowering broad bean that's starting to develop pods. So what's great about a wicking bed is the plants can get as much water as they want. It's all stored in the bottom. And for busy people, you only have to fill up the water once a week or so. There's an inlet here. So this is where the water goes in. And there is an outlet or an overflow pipe. Now this is really useful for telling us how full it is. And if you put too much water in, then the water will bubble over onto the grass. So when we decided to try putting wicking beds here on this bit of land in the front yard, the first thing we did was measure the size of the space, and from that you can work out what size beds you want to build. That can be any size, whatever suits you. You can make them any height. So one of the really good things about them is you don't have to bend over. You can make them taller if you need to, and you can make them to suit the space you have. So we've made them so that there is a gap around them wide enough to get our wheelbarrow through. So we measured up the wheelbarrow, worked out what space we had left, and then designed them so they're about 1 metre wide and 2 metres long. You can make them out of any material. We liked the corrugated iron look. We could get hold of second-hand pieces. So we did that, and with a wooden frame, but it couldn't be built of anything. It is just a box. So I've got this one here which is under repair. So I thought I'd show that to you, how it's made up. So it is box, so one of the annoying things is that you'll see grass is growing up because it is only a frame. We've now worked out that if you take your liner and put that up and tuck it into underneath the top piece, then that cuts down that problem. Now these ones are made with builder's plastic as a liner. So that's turned out to be not such a great idea. It was cheap and easily available, but we have now developed a hole in this. So this is 5 years old, this wicking bed, but it's got a hole, and unfortunately a hole down the bottom. And it's proving very time consuming to empty them. They are big and heavy and have a lot of material in them, so it's not it's not easy to move them. We have pulled apart the 2 in the backyard, but it took a very long time. So let's have a look. So we've got our frame, which is a wooden, which is made up of wood, and the sides are corrugated iron in this case. Then your base is some type of liner. I recommend using pond liner. Don't stint, do what we do and have this builder's plastic. Go for the proper pond liner, and whatever you do, make sure there is absolutely nothing sharp anywhere near your liner. You've got to make sure your surface is flat. Use a level because water will pool to the flood, so you need it all to be flat. Get your area flat, build your frame, then you put your liner in. Use the pond liner. We often use magnets to hold it up at the side. And then we've got gravel. So we did use recycled gravel. You can use lighter materials if you want. Just it's a lot more expensive. So we have about 20 centimeters of this. Oh, I'm forgetting about the pipes. Okay, let's talk talk about those. So we have our inlet. Now you can see this one is quite small. The ones we used in the backyard, we used quite a large pipe, and when I was watering, I accidentally dropped one of these down the actual pipe. We got it back a few years later when we pulled it apart to move it, but it was in no shape. Now, when we did these ones in the front yard, we made it much smaller, but it's actually kind of annoying because it's not easy to be able to put the hose and leave it on and walk away to do something else. So that's just one of those little design flaws to watch out for. We use tank water to fill it, and it takes a remarkable amount of water to fill it up. During the 4-year drought, there was a point where we ran out of tank water and we had to bucket our water. So we had to use a funnel like this, and that was extremely hard work and difficult. Don't recommend it. So you have this pipe that goes from the top down. There's an angle, and at the bottom there is a piece of ag pipe. So the ag pipe runs across the whole length of the bed, and that's trying to spread the water out, and then the gravel goes on top of it. The outlet is a fitting from Bunnings. Excuse our lack of mowing. So you can see this is a tank fitting. Now, we did learn that putting on a catch like this was a good idea. It's very handy to be able to have the overflow, to be able to turn it over and lie it down so that you can rinse out your bed every now and then, but it's very easy for the hose to catch on it and pull it, and you can accidentally empty your bed when you didn't want to. So we ended up putting these catches on them, but if we want to, we can undo it and empty the bed. So this goes through the pond liner, or the liner, and then with silicone, and on the other side is sealed. Okay, so you have the ag pipe running through, then the gravel, so it's about 20 centimeters of gravel. After that, you put this layer of geotextile fabric. So you can use other types of fabric. This is good. It's 5 years old, has not deteriorated at all. Going to reuse it again now. Other types of fabric, it keeps the dirt from falling down into the gravel, and you can see it's done a really good job of that. So the water is in here, in the gravel. Then you have your layer with your soil, and then that's about 30 centimeters, and then your mulch on top. The level of the outlet, you cut that off at the level of your top of your gravel. So you test it before you fill it up by putting water in, making sure there are no leaks, and that you've got your level right. Okay, so that's our wicking bed. I love my wicking beds. They're absolutely brilliant. You can do some extra little things to them. You can put, for example, trellises. Have a look at your local council cleanups, see what you can find. And this would be one of my favourite features here. Little basket that was being thrown out. So that's just brilliant for all your bits and pieces of gardening. Okay, so there's a little summary of wicking beds. Hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for listening.